I should work with the IEC to look at their schedule and if they have time and if they feel that it's necessary.
Hi again, I'm Andrew, and I just had to say that that's incredibly bad governance. Like, perfectly clear, bad governance. Patrick came to me in September last year. He's the real pusher behind Millennium Villages, and he asked how to do it. And I explained that there were 3 ways to get a referendum question. Either you get the board of directors to pass a motion putting it on the ballot, you either get Forum to say yes, or you collect the signatures. Forum said no. The board of directors was never approached. She never asked a director, as far as I know, to go about doing that. If you would have asked me, I would have been willing. In addition, the final one was 1,200 signatures, and he decided to go that route. He stopped talking to me after a while. Don't know what happened, but I do believe that it was, essentially what happened was he was given the wrong cutoff date for when the signatures had to be given to Forum to approve the referendum question. Of course, I'd be willing to have another go at it. We definitely should be putting this towards students. That's a question to students. There was, what was the other program that was?
Sustainable SFU.
Was asking for money. Really?
The Simon Fraser Sustainability Association. I'm the same group.
Well, they didn't ask me because I actually had no idea about this. I would have definitely been able to get behind that quite quickly because that's part of what I ran on last year was bring about sustainability on campus. And I actually find it very disappointing that wrong information was given out twice on behalf of the board of directors when we really should have our act together as a whole. It's not transparent, and as I said, it's not good governance. So I'm shocked and appalled, I guess we wanted to say it, that people were just thrown for the loop with bad information.
Yeah. As president, I want to, one of the biggest roles I believe that the president has is to mentor the other directors and executives on the board. And so that includes putting together a really effective orientation so that new board of directors members know the information so that if they're asked by students a question, that they know the right information. This information is in our policy and bylaws. And so myself, I have also met with Patrick, and I didn't meet with anybody from Sustainable SFU, but I wasn't asked about when the deadline for signatures was, so it's unfortunate that whoever it was who gave them information was mistaken. But I don't give out information to students unless I have actually checked and made 100% sure that something is the right answer so that students aren't confused. And I think that this is also another thing what I was saying before, being more visible to students so people know where they can get information, because online it does have all the dates and that kind of thing, and the deadlines for notice for special resolution, or it's actually not special resolution, it's a fee increase. But and the question about whether these groups would be allowed to do this referendum in September, it's maybe possible, but currently it's against policy to put referendum questions on not during a regular election period. And as well, holding a referendum tends to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Ask the IEC, they know how much money it costs because it includes paying for students to run a referendum. It costs, having materials for yes and no side campaigns, various expenses. You have to put ads in the peak. So I would have to look at that and talk to, obviously, anyone else who got elected. And if students were calling for this to happen in September and people were very, very adamant on it happening in September, and there was a large grassroots movement for it, it might be worth it for students to pay, perhaps $10,000 or more on some kind of initiative like this. But at this point, I guess all I have to say is, next time we have to make sure that students have all the right information and know who to talk to about every question so that things are laid out properly, do an effective orientation with directors so they know how to answer questions, and we can look about when these students can have their question on the ballot next year.
Cool, but I think transparency is a huge factor into making sure that students are aware of what's going on. I was at the forum meeting when this motion was proposed, and students thought thought it was a donation rather than a fee. And that was unclear to a lot of students. And I think the petition is one thing that is viable, but at the same time, I don't think it's possible to do it in September. I would really like to see this done. The Millennium Project was, I thought, really a good initiative, but at the same time, it is kind of like a donation to a nonprofit organization, right? And once we start doing this to one group, we have to start doing it to another group. I think if SFU has its own initiative like this, that would be more effective to SFU students directly, then I would be in favor of that. But just like I said, you need to get the word out there, and you need to get students to know about it, because they are all paying the fee.
As member services officer, this sort of thing would fall squarely into my role. And in my professional life, my clients will often say that I'm very easy to get in touch with and provide accurate information. And so being in that role, it'll be my responsibility to know the kinds of questions I might be asked and be able to give accurate information quickly and easily and be easy to get in touch with. So I don't think that something like this will happen under my role if I'm MSO, and I think that it'll be my job to talk with these groups and petition on their behalf to make sure that they